Hank! What the?
Seriously, Brok. The lassie trick? Was I born yesterday?
Damn it, Hank! If we live through this, I'm gonna kill you myself.
You don't have a license to kill anymore.
Doc! Doc!
Oh, well, hello, Mr. No Radio Contact. I'm Rock, miss us already.
Take a look around the cockpit, Doc. You forget something?
Travel bingo?
Try your son, Doc.
No, Dean's right here.
Hey, gas!
Hi! Welcome to Venture Bros, the Venture Bros podcast. I'm your host, as always, Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, we have Mr. Nicholas Ackee Friedemann.
Ackee, I hardly knew ye.
That was a pretty good one. I like that one.
Yes! I have no idea what an Ackee is.
Neither do I. We have Mr. Graham Mangosteen Mason.
Yeah, that's me. That's yep. Whatever you just said.
Don't you feel like a mangosteen?
I do.
Yeah. And then, in our first time ever having an international podcast recording, we have Mr. Matt Miracle Fruit Dykes.
Hello. Miracle?
Miracle Fruit. It's the most lazily named fruit, I think, ever.
No, orange.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah.
Good lord, the part 2 breakdown is quite long. This is going to be a kind of a bittersweet episode for me, because I love season 3, and I'm going to be very sad to say goodbye to it, but you know, all good things must come to an end. So this week we are talking The Family That Slays Together, Stays Together, parts 1 and 2. Which is... it's going to be okay. I'm going to get through it. Alright, let's get started. Before we jump too deep into the episode, because this one is, you know, complex and crazy and just bonkers from frame 1, we should definitely figure out what's going on in the whole episode so we can talk about it. And Matt, I hear you're very excited to break down both episodes as quickly as possible.
Do it.
Chomping at the bit to talk about it.
It's gonna be sick.
Excited is not the word I would use.
I will say this much. You can't do worse than Graham.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Could try.
You could try.
Yeah.
I say don't try, but you could.
I mean, it's always possible, but I believe in you, Matt. I think you can do it.
Go on, Miracle Fruit.
Okay. Oh, I've got a new nickname.
Yeah,
It's
Miracle
better
Fruit.
than Dickhead.
All right,
Okay.
Matt, whenever you're ready.
So the episode starts off. Brok is beating the shit out of the wreck of his car, and a load of people show up to try and kill him. We find out that he's been basically marked to be assassinated by the OSI, who have brought in 3 assassins. He goes to see Hunter to try and get away and takes the Ventures with him. No. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why is this so difficult?
It's tough, isn't it?
Fuck it, I'm just going to read Brock's notes. Brock Sampson is a marked man, terminated from the OSI, stripped of his license to kill, and is hunted by 3 of the world's deadliest assassins. Brock only has one thing left, the Venture family, and he wants them as far away from him as he can get them, but not even Molotov cocktease, hunter-gatherers, and a pair of ex-OSI comrades can sever the ties that bind. And the Monarch and Sergeant Hatred aren't helping. And in part 2, we are introduced to General Tracer, who is horrified to learn that their 3 best assassins have been killed by Brok, spoilers, and decides to take matters into his own hands. The Venture family is saved by the Cleaner, who Brok discovers has been sent to them by Molotov cocktease in her attempts to save them. With Helper in their possession, the Monarch tracks down the Ventures and demands their surrender, while Brok is also contacted by Tracer. Brok decides to speak to both of them at the same time to meet him at the Venture compound at dawn. Dr. Mrs. the Monarch believes it's all a trap, but the Monarch reveals he has planted a bomb on Helper. At dawn, the forces of the Monarch and OSI face off, both believing the other to be under Brok's employ. Sergeant Hatred and Dr. Venture have an argument as to who has done the worst things until Hank tells them that they should use his Christmas presents, the clone slugs, to stop the fight. With the clone slugs led by hatred and all easily killed by the Monarch in his new Death's Head panoply, which is the funniest thing to say. Or the weirdest.
A little bit of both.
Brok stops the fight and learns that Tracer was only responding to his distress call. Brok decides that he's had enough and quits the OSI, and his mission guarding the Ventures just as Helper's bomb goes off, taking Henchman 24's life in the process. At the very end of the episode, Molotov Cocktease is pleased that the world's top 3 assassins have now been killed, and her Blackheart's assassins are the best in the world. She calls for a toast to Brok Sampson and is joined by Hunter Gathers, who is also one of her fellow Blackhearts.
Bum, bum, bum.
Fucking hell,
twist.
that's hard.
You did it.
You did it!
Woo! And it's now 9 o'clock.
I think you just gave Graham a good run for his money. But
Yeah, I feel good about that.
the difference is, this is Matt's first time doing it. We've just finished 3 seasons, and you're still horrible at it.
Practice makes worse.
So I'm going to start this kind of where we do all these episodes recently. How do we feel about this one? Is this the end-all, be-all, fantastic, amazing finale that everyone says it is, or was it a little bit lackluster? What do you guys think?
It's bonkers.
It is definitely bonkers.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fantastic. I mean, I'm kind of going through. I mean, this season's tough because it has so many great, consistent episodes. But this is up there.
Yeah,
for
and
me.
honestly, that's why I didn't do the list for this one. Because I was gonna do like the top 5 episodes again, and it's just like, you know what, season 3 is just so solid. We if you listen to the even our season of the show, there's only 2 episodes where we're like, meh, and the rest of it's like, I don't know, it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
And
The 2 bad episodes were one right after the other, which was
it's kind of nice.
I
You just get them over with.
And for
like a Band-Aid.
bad episodes, they're not horrible. They are still really good episodes, just in comparison to what the rest of the season is.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Nick, what do you think of this one?
I really like it. It's weird. You were saying I guess like last week that this was the best finale that they've done, and I think I agree with you.
Yep.
But for some reason, I always kind of fuse the finale and the next season's premiere together, and then the premiere always takes precedence. I don't know why. I just realized that I had done that when we were talking about next season's premiere.
Okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's a great premiere, but completely forgotten about the finale entirely.
Well, and I feel we'll talk about this more next week when we get into season 4, but when they were greenlit for season 3, they were greenlit for 3 and 4 at the same time. So they really had the foresight to be able to go, we can just shake as much up as possible in this finale because we know for a fact we're not going to be leaving fans like, what the fuck was that? We got canceled after 3 seasons? Like,
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
everything's up in the air. So they knew they could just throw as much in the air as possible because they knew where it was going to come down and land. And I thought that was, knowing that, watching this episode, it makes a lot more sense why they're able to be so risky with so many decisions, because they really
For
do.
sure.
They just go nuts.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like you're saying, we've talked about this a few times. Some of this stuff is foreshadowed. Some of the stuff I think they kind of realized, we could probably do this in the moment. But I really like this finale. I like that it's set up in kind of like a James Bond. I mean, it's... Can we kind of have to... Well, I don't know. I'll say it now, and then we'll kind of talk about it more next week. But I think this is kind of like a loving send-off of one character, but not the one that you'd expect, which is Brok.
Yeah. Yeah, this entire episode is built to say goodbye to Brok for a while.
Yes.
The 24 goodbye is very much just like, ah!
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's actually set up. I was looking at this, and I actually went back and rewatched. In the first part, the second scene of the first episode, when they're all in the car together, they're not wearing seatbelts.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Because I was like, oh, wait, I wonder. You're like, so remember that note, and we'll come back to that in 40 minutes.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I want to save it for the end of the episode when we get in our favorite moments, but like I'll just bring it up again then. But like the entire reason why 24 dies is that he just was, not thinking like, oh, I'm sitting in a car, I should put on my seatbelt, and that kills him. That's...
Well, see, it's really interesting because this I don't think I would have ever picked up if you hadn't brought it up on a previous episode, and it's where 24 puts up the top of the car.
Yeah.
And he does it to prepare for something that doesn't end up happening, right?
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the exact same thing.
It's gonna
Yeah,
rain.
exactly. And it's pretty much the exact same thing now. He's preparing for something that isn't going to happen. They weren't going to be going anywhere in the car, so why is he buckled up?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, 24 is great at preparing for things that won't happen, and then it gets him killed.
I mean, they're both sat in the back of the car as well, so there's no chance. There's nobody in the driver's seat.
Yeah, but that's where they sit. I mean, they would never sit in the front seat. Not of the Monarch Mobile.
Yeah, no. That's
The blue Stanza, though, that's entirely different.
powder blue Stanza.
Powder
please.
blue. All right, what do you drive?
Mostly.
His powder blue Stanza.
My favourite thing about the Stanza is just when they discover it's smashed up in the, I think it's the opening episode of the third. Oh, my Stanza!
Was like, Steve's gonna kill me. Steve, my dad.
Poor Stanza. So we're already kind of talking about it, and I feel like I just want to kind of finish this one out. The death of 24, like, did anybody see this coming? I mean, I know it's foreshadowed, like, when we were talking about it, but like, we have obviously the knowledge of foresight. But the first time you're getting through this thing, did it catch anybody else as off guard as it caught me?
I was totally shocked. Like, when it happens, he's just standing there, waving like a goof, and all of a sudden, just explodes, and then his head just, like, smacks into 21 as well.
His flaming head. Like,
yeah. I was just like, holy crap. And I also thought as well that Brok had been caught up in the explosion as well. Like, when you first see it and it goes like that, you think, holy shit, they've killed Brok.
I mean, he kind of was caught up in it. He did end up with a robot head in his heart.
True. But not close enough to be killed. Right. Well, I mean, at least by the OSI saving him.
Well,
later.
I mean, it'd be enough to kill a normal man, not Brock Sampson.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think that, like, we were talking about the surprise part. It was like when the explosion happened, I think, to go back and be completely honest, I was like, well, they'll probably find a way to keep him alive. And then the head falls into the hands of 21, and you're like, well, no, he's dead. Like, he's very dead.
That's, yeah.
But I feel like that's just the brilliance of Public and Hammer, because, like, that is them going, all right, if we blow him up and he's standing next to the car, all the fans are like, oh, I wonder how they're going to bring him back. It's 24. You can't get rid of 24. Like, we need to make sure that everyone knows that he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
in a way that Dr. Venture couldn't even bring him back.
Yeah. And the funny thing that I always find, like, when this first happened, the only reason that they would give for why they killed 24 was they were tired of doing his voice.
Aww.
I don't know if
got
that's...
Ray Romano in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, like, I don't know if that's entirely true or if it's just their sense of humor giving us an answer. When I went through the book, it was mostly when I was reading about season 4. Again, we'll get to that next week, but it pertains to this episode. And it was kind of what I was saying earlier. They're like, we've done everything we can do in this format. Like, this, we could do this forever. Like, the show works really well as like a Scooby-Doo type show. We can just keep doing this format as long as possible, and it will be easy, it'll be fun, it'll be forgettable. Or we can really challenge ourselves and just shake this Etch-a-Sketch as hard as possible. And that's entirely what the season finale is. And I think that's why I like it as much as I do. Beyond it just being a very solid episode, like the comedy's great, the action's great, the intrigue's great, like I love the whole journey aspect. But the fact that they're just like, you know what, after this season, this will be a different show. And they do that really well. And like they make you know.
Yeah.
It's like when you compare now, like, season 1 to where it's gone in season 7, and it's like a completely different show. And it's just,
entirely.
That's what the great thing about Venturers, I think, is how much it changes. You know, it actually does evolve through time, and, you know, it's not just the same thing every week. It changes, and new things are brought in. Old things are tied up, sort of, and then but you will have a lot of those plot points that are still open, that are never really sort of talked about, but there is that potential that they may go back to it. I mean, it's just, that's what I love about the series so much, is how much it changes. And the season 3 finale was the first really big thing. I mean, apart from finding out the Ventures brothers are actually clones, the season 3 finale was first huge, wow, this is actually going to be different.
But even with the clones, they didn't change really anything in the show. It just kind of went, oh, the boys are, they're expendable because they always have a backup. So the show was able to keep going in the same way and just explain why they can put the boys in such perilous danger at all times and still do the same thing. And this one, by getting rid of their backups and getting rid of Brok and everything else that it does, it's like, oh no, this is where we're finally drawing the line in the sand of this is before this event, and everything after this is completely different. And I love it. I love that you don't really fully realize what all's going on as it's happening, but you can tell this feels different. It kind of harkens back to season 1 when the Guild Wasps show up for the first time, and you're like, oh shit, this is different. These guys are professionals. The Monarch's henchmen are jokes. And then this one has that same sort of feeling of oh no, this isn't playing around anymore. This is no longer how the Monarch says, sharpening your claws. This is like life and death now. And I think, and the fact they're able to do that with their sense of humor and keep it both funny and very serious, it's just brilliant. And I think that's why I think this is the best of all the season finales.
Correct me if I'm wrong as well, but this is the first time you see the full force of the OSI as well. You have the armored suits, the vehicles, and everything like that. I can't think of any other episode where you see the full force of it, apart from the one with the flashback. Or am I jumping ahead now? The one where we find out about how Phantom Limb lost his. Was that in season 3?
Yeah. Which has the bit where they're fighting Sphinx.
Yeah.
So you kind of get a weird montagey 80s thing, but that's it. This is the first time that you actually get to see something, I would say, substantial.
Yeah. And the difference is this is the first time we meet Treaster, and we don't really know anything about him right now, and then he's in charge of the OSI, and he's a really weird dude. We have no mention of any Red Hulks at this point, which I'm so excited to get to.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
We get to meet his son earlier on. That's about it.
Yeah. And I love that this episode does such a great job with all these crazy things going on. You have the most ridiculous assassins imaginable, which we're going to get into them. Don't worry. I can't talk about this episode without talking about at least one of them in great detail. But while you have all this super crazy stuff going on, you feel like it's this really monumentous moment, and then when we finally get the shades pulled back of no, you were in trouble, we're just trying to help you, what the hell are you doing? And Brok just has that wait, what am I doing? What's going on here?
I was just going to say, it's interesting watching it back, knowing how it goes there, and that line of dialogue in the first opening scene of the second part, everything that he's saying, not knowing how it ends, you can interpret it as, oh god, we failed to kill Brok and everything like that.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's that the other way around, you listen. Those lines fit perfectly with oh, he's just gone crazy and just decided to kill all these assassins. We need to go stop him. What the hell is he doing?
Yeah.
And I love that rug pull, because I feel like that wasn't. It's not a Venture Brothers style rug pull, because usually it'd be we're not here to help, we're not here to kill you, we're here to kill that monster behind you, and it's top ridiculous with more ridiculous. And this is one of the first times where it's super crazy, and the way that they're going to fix it is no, this isn't a big deal. And that's not something Venture Brothers does a lot, of no, we're overreacting here. Usually the status quo is overreacting, and this is the first time that I can think of where no, we need to calm down. And that's not something that this show likes to do, and I think because of that, it really caught me off guard.
Yeah, for sure. Because, like, even watching it back, I had kind of forgotten what the twist was at the end of the episode, and was like, oh, this makes more sense, and this is, like, we've been talking about this whole bit, it's something different. Like, but it also feeds into what Brok does, right? Like, Brok does not think about things fully. He kind of, like, rushes in, and then if he needs to readjust, he'll readjust, but he will always answer with violence first.
Yeah.
He doesn't really ask any questions. He doesn't really think about where this could be coming from. He just kind of goes for it.
And there's that also, you see that trust that he has in Hunter as well. Even after he was sent to kill him and all that, he still trusts him because he believes everything that Hunter tells him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's just that sort of thing like, oh, he's told me that. This is right. I'm going to go. And I need to kill these assassins or whatever.
Which holds out in the end. I forget when that actually comes out, if it's season 4 or season 5. But
It's season 4. It's pretty early on. Like, I think, I could be wrong. I think it's in the season premiere. Like, oh, Hunter's not what we think he was one episode ago.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the
Well, I mean,
end.
you even
It's the end of the
see-
first
yeah.
episode of season
Yeah,
4.
that's right. Yeah, so
One of my most
I like
favourite lines from Hunter Gathers as well.
I don't want to ruin next week's episode, but you're right. That's
No, I'll shut up.
but no, I love Hunter just in general, and I love that this is the end of Hunter being used sparingly. Like, after this, Hunter becomes a much bigger character, and he's fantastic.
yes.
But
More of that, please.
the problem is that when we get more of Hunter, we get less of Stripper Hunter, and that's really too bad. Because I love Stripper Hunter, and I feel like if this is going to be the last time we spend any time with Stripper Hunter, it's the best time we spend with him. Specifically when he has to go looking for the keys.
Exactly.
Another favourite line of mine is,
He found them.
He did.
You know?
but you are not going to like looking for the keys.
But it's one of those moments where it's like, I feel like Jackson and Public had to be like, all right, so we're never going to use this style of this character again. What are all the jokes we have that we could do with this character as a stripper? Let's just throw him in this scene. And it's just loaded with jokes. Like, even with the, like, quick, feel my tits! And then he slaps him. I can handle this one, Jimmy. Like, I just... all of it is just so good.
No touching the ladies.
Yes. The thing I love about that as well is he's still got his stubble. He's still wearing his sunglasses as well.
He's the ugliest stripper, but it's just... It's
Still
just
smoking.
fantastic.
He's got cancer spots on his back.
Forgot
It's
about
great.
the cancer spots.
Yep.
Oh, he is not an attractive man.
Oh,
So I'm trying to save the assassins for last, even though it's all I want to talk about because I love the assassins in this show. So I'm gonna sidestep it again really quick. I think if I had to nitpick this episode, because I have to nitpick everything that I love, I think my biggest problem with it is for a show that I love so much because of Hank and Dean. In this episode, Hank and Dean really are not showcased at all. It's not their story, really at all, and that's fine to a certain point because this is definitely, as Nick said, Brok's farewell episode. But I still felt like we'd have more from Rusty and the boys, and we really don't get a lot from any of the three of them.
They're used as a couple punchlines of a couple jokes, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Rusty kind of
like
is...
a catalyst, though, because it's like, you know, had Hank not snuck out of the X-Ray and got into the car, you know, they would have flown off and that would have been the end of it. But because Hank does, it's sort of like they're still anchored to Brok in that sort of respect, and it's that sort of, that's their story is mainly them, you know, their love of Brok and that sort of thing of like, no, we will follow you and help you no matter what because we're a family, and that's how the boys like sort of serve the story in these episodes, and it's that sort of relationship I think which is how it fits.
No, yeah,
whereas it is Brok's story.
Yeah, and it goes with the title of the episodes of the family that stays together. I mean, that's the part of it.
I mean, that's
they just
it's totally true.
Stay as close to what they think they need to be in the next season.
Yeah, I totally get what you guys are saying. I think it works. I just think because it is a two-parter and there's so much stuff in this, that the only thing that we get from them is that they are there to be Brok's family. It just kind of feels, I don't want to say lackluster, but just like, it felt like it was fat that got trimmed. And it's not like, not all fat needs to be trimmed off an episode. And these 2 episodes are so dense already. I understand why. Well, we don't have a lot to do with them story-wise. They're here for emotional support and just kind of emotional beats. And that's really all we need them this time. It just still feels kind of weird having a Venture Brothers season finale that doesn't really feature the Venture Brothers.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, to play devil's advocate, I think that they do 2 things. They keep the stakes high because I think that, you know, multiple times the family is kind of put in danger and Brok's the one who has to kind of get them out of it. If it was just Brok, I think that you'd be like, well, Brok's going to take care of it because Brok always takes care of it.
True.
I think the other thing is that even season 2's finale didn't really feature the family very much. It was the Monarch's story.
But we had Russian Guyovich.
That's true. But I think even so, it's just they don't really factor into the story. They're still used as kind of like comedic punchlines, which I think works. I don't know. I mean, I think just playing Russian. I was saying Guyovich, playing devil's advocate. Very different things. I'm sorry to all of our listeners in Russia.
I don't think we have any. Last time I checked the metrics, that wasn't one of the countries.
Russian's advocate?
Yes, a Russian's advocate. I'll dress in my my terrible and tacky jumper and what do you call it? Sweats with like big chains and a pompadour.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I tied it in.
There you go.
No, but I think that the season finales outside of season 1 so far have been mostly about kind of like people besides the actual Ventures.
Yeah, I guess
as far as the story goes.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Like it never really dawned on me as much because I always, whenever I think about a season finale, I always kind of think of 2, which you're right when you say it like that, but I always think of them being more involved just because Hank is in the battle.
Exactly.
But you're right, plot-wise, you're spot on, and I don't think they really have a season a season finale that's about them until 4, with Operation Prom.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh man.
And for the most part, most of the season finales aren't really about the boys. You know, the only one I can think of off the top of my head that is actually about them is the one you mentioned, season 4, Operation Prom. The rest of them don't seem to be. I mean, season
7 kind of is, but I don't want to get way too far ahead of
ourselves.
But that one definitely has.
That's a whole new show. Entirely.
Yeah, like that. Because when it's about the boys, it's about very different style of the boys. The emotional beats at the end of 7 could not be more different than what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But I think the boys do a great job here, and because the boys are in it, even if they're not the focus like I always like them to be, they still lead to one of my favorite moments, and I just can't avoid it anymore. We have to talk about the assassins, specifically Latour, and his love of Batman. Like, just Hank meeting Latour is one of my favorite moments in the entirety of the Venture Brothers. I just love that I am in love with that towel. Like, it's I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just like, it's such a great, like, what the hell is this moment? And like, just as soon as Brok comes back, Hank, don't talk to him.
It's okay, we're gonna go to
Latour. I love it, and I love that, like, it's just everything about Latour. We'll talk about the other guys in a moment, but Latour is one of those characters that, like, there's no way for him to survive this episode. I understand that. It doesn't upset me, but I still want more from him.
I love that. Don't talk about your sword. Every time you guys talk about your sword.
Like, I love that. I love his ridiculous elephant costume. There isn't a thing I don't like about this guy. I like that he slices off Brok's nipple and he's just really proud of it. Like, oh, look at that.
He just holds the sword out with Brok's nipple on it as well.
And I love that Dean retrieved the nipple.
Son of a bitch.
That would hurt really bad. Just putting
yes,
that
it
out
would.
there.
Yeah, it always makes me cringe when I think about it. When I think too much about how that would feel. Ugh.
No, not good.
And keep in mind, this is after he's been attacked by 3 or 4 sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And had to cut his hair with either his knife or a shark's tooth.
Or just rip it out.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
or
sure.
Because
Just rip
that's a close shave.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he ripped it out. That's all I can figure out.
I agree.
And that just seems way more Brok. Like, if he was, like, underwater with a knife, like, shaving my head, that doesn't feel like Brok. But Brok just ripping his hair out and slapping it on a shark he just knocked unconscious, yeah, that feels like Brok.
Alright, fair.
I'm looking at my notes here to see if there's anything else about Latour that I wanted to say.
The only thing I'll say is that his French accent is atrocious.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's so not close at all.
But I still feel like that's kind of the joke. Like, there's a part of me that thinks that he's not a French guy and that he just wants to be a French guy because it would be cool.
And I think it's also kind of an in-joke for them because a lot of their accents are, like, outside of the U.S. are pretty bad.
Oh, they're awful. They all kind of sound like Underland after a
Torrid.
while.
Yeah, exactly. Torrid doesn't really sound Australian. Like, it's good.
He sounds Australian like I do right now if I just say "good day, mate" after every sentence.
I didn't know you were Australian.
How long did you live there? What? I feel like I've known you for a while, and this is the first I'm hearing of any of this.
I moved to the States the day before I met you.
Damn.
I know.
Crazy.
And I met you midway through college.
But seriously, like, I think the joke for me with the Latour's accent comes when Brok says Latour. That's why I don't think he's an actual French guy, because when he says his name, he's mocking a French accent. Latour.
Yeah. He even says that his nickname, or his ego doesn't allow him to have a nickname when they're introducing his character.
Yeah.
So, maybe his whole thing is a facade.
What was the first assassin's name? I always forget that one.
Hair Trigger.
Hair Trigger. Yeah. That's right. I love Hair Trigger. I feel like
he's phenomenal.
I feel like if Hair Trigger and Myra were able to meet each other,
okay,
there's a match made in heaven.
For sure.
Like,
that's disgustingly accurate. Yes.
A match made in leather heaven?
Oh yeah. Where they just both get really aroused and start licking things. Like, that is like, I can picture it right now. I'm not enjoying the picture, but I can picture it. Like, they were meant to be together.
Makes me so uncomfortable.
One of my favourite bits of Hair Trigger is where he fires the rocket launcher and then just like sticks it between his legs and just like, whoa!
And I love that. That's like, he did it, and then he just gets crushed. But I also like that. I feel like throughout the show, we're always given these like quick examples of people that want to fight Brok, and Brok almost feels like I want to. Avengers Infinity War, when Thanos fights the Hulk, and it's like, oh wow, they're actually fighting, and then one of the guy's like, just let him have his fun. It's like, oh no, they're fucked. And I feel like that's kind of everyone versus Brok. It's like, oh, they're putting up a good fight. No, Brok just wants to fight. If he didn't want to fight, that person would be dead now. And I feel like in this episode, when we're introduced to Hair Trigger, it's the first time we've ever seen Brok struggle to kill somebody. Not counting Molotov cocktails, because that's a whole different emotional gambit thing of why he won't kill her. But with Hair Trigger, he tries from the very beginning, and he's not successful until the very end.
I mean, he even stabs him through the chest with his knife, and that doesn't even stop him as well.
Yeah, like, so it was really kind of cool and refreshing to see, like, oh, this is somebody fighting on his level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I go back to like one of the quotes that Nick was saying. I forgot who he was fighting, but he's like, "Yeah, I'm getting a good fight out of you."
Oh, it's the woman bodyguard.
Yeah,
it's the only part of that episode that I like, and every time I'm just like, I'll watch it just for him screaming that into her face.
I think that's his life. You know, that's what he wants.
Yeah, that's true. So we got to finish with the last. What's his name? The Go Fish Sturgeon. Is that it?
Yeah.
The marine assassination guy.
Yes.
This guy,
Russell Sturgeon. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like he got a little shortchanged. It's not necessarily like anyone's fault. It's fine. But I feel like he's only there for like because they needed a third guy. Like, they didn't really develop that character very much. Whereas, like, Hair Trigger and Latour, like, they definitely feel like they could exist outside this episode to me. Whereas this guy, it's like, the only reason we're bringing him is because at some point we have to get Shore Leave into the show. And when they go to see Shore Leave, he'll be attempted to be assassinated. And I fucking love Shore Leave. So anything to get us to Shore Leave, I'm happy. But I just feel like it was a great sequence. It's really funny and it's awesome. But I think he's the most forgettable out of the three assassins that go after him.
I think he's the most forgettable because most of the action that takes place is literally just in the background. Because you're with Shore Leave, you know, putting his armor on and... You know,
Ephesian sequence. Activate!
And then he gets to, like, you know, he's all suited up, and then it's like, oh God, oh Lord, please help us in this hour. And then there's Hank going, what? He's right there, go!
The power of prayer can move mountains, Hank.
And there's like that, you were focused on that whilst, like, you know, Brok's being getting dragged through the water in the background. And I think that's why Go Fish is sort of like a more forgettable one, because you don't see him as much. It's all in the background to Shore Leave.
Yeah. And I feel like
out of all of the interactions, though, I feel that's my favorite. Like, and his death and everything is incredible.
Oh yeah, it's a blast. I just didn't get much from the character. That's all I was saying. Like, the sequence is fantastic.
I also, to Brian's point, I think a big piece of it too is the fact that he's like a gimmick fighter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like, he uses a lot of gadgets, he uses a lot of stuff. He doesn't actually do very much. And I think, to Brian's point, I think that's part of the reason why he's kind of forgettable. Like, stuff that you actually remember, or at least for me when I was going to this, was like the Shore Leave bit and basically Brok doing stuff, and that was it. Like, himself, I'm like, oh, right, this guy just gets me to the point where Brok cuts his head off with a shark, and Shore Leave with his flaming sword and kind of flaming helmet are preying on the bow of the ship or whatever, and do nothing.
I love that they do nothing. Like, the fact that he gets that dolled up and with a flaming sword and then just runs out and starts praying. Like,
Yep.
Especially knowing, like, when we go past this episode, how capable Shore Leave is. He's a great agent. Like, he kicks ass. But when he's undercover, nah.
So this is the question. He is undercover, right? I know that we're jumping ahead, but we're not going to talk about anything specific, but he is undercover in this situation, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, jumping way, way ahead, there is a moment when they're talking about when they have to, like, announce openly any secret, because in Sphinx there are no secrets, and one of the guys was I miss having sex with, or something about Shore Leave, and then Shore Leave was like, I miss pretending I enjoyed having sex with you. And it's like, oh god, so undercover, and they were both Sphinx agents. They did not have to bang, and they definitely banged. But they were undercover.
Makes sense.
Because Shore Leave was enjoying it, and I always forget the other one's name. What's his name?
Sky Pilot.
Sky Pilot. Yeah, apparently he was not enjoying it. So we've been talking for a while on this thing, and I feel like the only thing we really haven't talked about, and we need to, is the Monarch. I
was waiting for us to get to that, because he's got one of my favourite Monarch moments in this whole thing.
Both the Monarch, Dr. Girlfriend, like, everything in this thing with Monarch centric, I think is fantastic, and I'm almost speechless. Like, what's your favorite moment in this thing, Matt? Like, what is the chief thing that you like?
I think it's where he's just searching for Dr. Venture, and he, like, jumps into the wardrobe and is like, die, Dr. Venture! Oh, come on! and then, like, just that really, like, wide out shot of him, and just goes, where the fuck are you?
I think for me, my favorite thing with the Monarchs in this one, it has to be when they're storming the compound and Dr. Girlfriend, or Dr. Miss the Monarch, is in Brok's room getting ready to seduce him, even though she's been told twice now, subdue, and she's like, nah, fuck that. I love that. And then I love that she finds Sergeant Hatred in the bathroom just sobbing. Like, and it's all because of a text, and like it leads to, and again, I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but I think it's one of his best lines ever. And it's one of my favorite lines in the entire episode. But when she goes, "This is a big cell phone. I'm a big boy."
And in thinking in that bit was like, he is giant on this toilet. He is a big boy.
He is a big boy. Mm-hmm. And if you have the Blu-rays or DVDs or Amazon account, he's got a big old peen just hanging in the the toilet. This is
Funnily enough, on my last watch through, that was the first time I ever noticed that.
Yep. I also love that the letter D in hatred circles his dick, which I think is hysterical. It really makes me wonder what happens when he changes it all to venture.
Well, he doesn't. He just has the V, and as the rest of them share.
Oh, is the rest of it still hatred?
No, he has the A-tray lasered off, and then he makes a comment about, he left the D in there because it's like a... Oh, I can't remember how he describes it, like it's a conversation starter or something.
Oh. I think that'd be a conversation finisher, but whatever.
Yeah. Moving on.
But I love the Monarch in this episode because this feels like throughout all of the show and everything we've seen so far, as long as the Monarch's going after Rusty, it's exactly what he said it was when he was talking to Jonas Venture Jr. It's sharpening his claws. He just likes tormenting Rusty. He never wants to kill Rusty. Like, I think that'd be like, all right, so when I'm on my deathbed, I'm just going to kill him 5 minutes before I die so that I know that he died before me. But until then, we're going to keep this cat and mouse thing going. And I feel like this is the only time where he's like, you know what? I'm going to do real damage to Rusty. Like, I am going to take him the fuck down. And he goes with his, I don't even know, what was it called again? His murder suit thing?
Death's Head Panoplies or something.
Thank you. And it's like, that machine is just insane.
Yep. One of my favorite Monarch moments is when he finally gets into that suit and gets stood up, and he tells one of his henchmen, "Push the button on the sleeve." And immediately cuts the dude's head off.
That's my number 2 favorite moment. Just, it's a little button on the sleeve. Just, off goes the head.
That's incredible.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, after this, he doesn't really have henchmen anymore, right?
No, he still has henchmen.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah,
when does he lose all of his henchmen? Is that at the end of season 5?
End of season 5, I think. When.
Oh, okay.
Because he gets the cocoon gets blown up by hatred.
That's right. Okay, yeah, so that comes later. But yeah, but this still feels like we've seen the Monarch fail constantly because we've said time and time again, failure's kind of the overall theme of the Venture Brothers show. This, I feel, is the most spectacular failure he's had. It's like failure plus embarrassment plus just giving up. Like, especially when Brock's like, "Hey, Monarch, I'm taking your fucking car," and his reply is, "Yeah." like he's just done.
Yeah.
Not wanting to jump too far ahead in the series, but you mentioned about the Monarch being a failure all the time. The only time he ever really succeeds is when he becomes a quote unquote hero, where where he becomes Blue Muff. That's the only time he ever actually succeeds at anything.
Yeah.
In season 6, which is quite interesting, really.
Yeah, because otherwise he'll fail his way to success quite often. He does that. Like, that's kind of his MO. Both him and Rusty, they do that a lot. They fail their way to success. But this time, it is one of the few times where we see failure leading to even more failure. And he's just covered in puke in a suit he can't move in, essentially dead on the ground.
Oh, man, that puke bit just gets me every time.
Starts off like so promising, and then all of a sudden it just starts flying all over the place.
I'm so confused about how, like, the design of it and just in general, like, why he was like, this is going to be great. Like, somebody really pitched him on something that was, like, never going to happen.
Yeah, well, you can't move your arms. You can't move your head.
Yes!
You can't move your legs.
But it can't even deploy
there's no way to
anything
control
without help.
it.
Yeah.
But it makes sense of, like, no, it's like a rocket. It's like you just put yourself in a rocket, but it's entirely immobile and ridiculous and makes no sense that a person would be in there in the first place.
And it's made of solid gold.
Yeah. Which would be heavy as fuck.
Well, you hear the slamming somebody set down. You say this, dunk.
And I also love that, like, they with one line, you can tell that both he and Dr. Mr. Monarch have had many arguments about this thing. He's getting it ready. She's like, no, not that thing. You haven't even tested it yet. Like, this is a horrible
You're gonna
idea.
get yourself killed.
And that's just classic Marnock. Like, nah, it'll be fine.
Nah, it'll be good. We'll test it out.
Yeah, we'll test it in action. Great plan.
That's kind of the Monarch's thing, though, isn't it? He's like, we'll field test it in the field. We won't test it. We'll just test it straight away.
Yeah, it's going to be
just
great.
like how he did with the lightning cannon. Just
the lightning cannon sucks.
Jettison the lightning cannon.
Yeah. Oh, God. I think we've kind of hit everything that I really want to talk about this anything. Is there anything that we've missed that anybody here wants to talk about?
I mean, just the sheer amount of one-liners in this, and just like quotes and everything. It's just incredible.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have a favorite quote that I was going to use for my favorite moment because I
have like 12.
I have one that I always think of whenever I think about this episode, and it's related to Helper, if that's a hint. And it's just my absolute favorite moment. But as far as everything else, I think we've kind of covered it. Like, there's a few things, like, obviously here
the
and there.
psychiatrist, which, when he's making his notes on the venture brothers,
Oh, yeah.
I freeze framed it and wrote them all down. And he made this list. It's Paranoid Delusions, Arrested Development, Crybaby, and then
Poor Dean.
and then Hank picks up the whatever it is, the sweet thing,
the Twizzler.
The Twizzler. Then starts smoking it like a cigarette, and he writes down oral fixation. And then when they start talking about Brok again, he writes down Stockholm Syndrome as well. And I just think that's absolutely fantastic, because the psychiatrist doesn't believe that Brok even exists.
Oh,
even
yeah.
though he's arrested in another room and it's like almost like the police didn't tell the psychiatrist that this guy is there. And it's so weird. Like that whole scene as well. You just see Hank just crying in the corner, and then Dean just crying in the corner.
And it brings up the good question of, is this the only time we see people who are unfamiliar with the OSI and Guild of Calamitous Intent? Like, is this like a secret war that the rest of the world doesn't know? Like, why would this guy be like, oh, really, a flying butterfly? Like, the cocoon isn't exactly, hard to miss.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, there's that line earlier on in the series where Monarch's talking about, it could be anywhere, or it could be in the Grand Canyon where everyone can see it. Wow.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just always kind of curious about that particular thing, because I don't know if that was... I don't want to say it's a mistake, but it does feel weird that these people don't believe anything they're talking about, because it is always so bright and open and obvious, but maybe it is more of a secret to everyday society. I don't know.
Well, you have that thing way back in season 1 with the Trial of the Monarch where... he's essentially on trial for killing a police officer.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's almost like, nobody really knows about the guild or anything like that. It's, this guy just dressed as a butterfly killed a police officer.
No, that's true.
And there's no sort of mention in that trial of, secret societies or whatever, or the OSI or anything like that. So I do think it's that sort of secret war that's going on behind the scenes. Nobody really knows about it.
Yeah. And I'm kind of glad that they don't focus on that too often. Like, I like that, it'll come up every now and then, but that's not like a mainstay of the show of look at how everyone doesn't know what's going on. It's kind of like, they don't know and they don't matter, so we're just going to stay with our stuff.
Right.
Yeah, this being the thing that the universe that we live in is pretty cool. It's obviously more entertaining than the real world.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well then let's move into the end of this thing, and we're gonna go with favorite moments. And as I mentioned earlier in the episode, I didn't want to do the list for this season just because I feel like this season always gets kind of a bad shake, and people aren't the biggest fans of season 3, and I love season 3. I couldn't really do the list, and I hope fans out there are okay with us not ranking them. But we told you which 2 episodes we didn't like. The rest of them are great. I have a fly in my face. Okay, so my favorite moment, I have to go with it's right in the beginning of part 1, like just right out of the gate. At the end of Orb, Brok's car tries to kill him. So in the beginning of this episode, picking up right where that ended, he's sitting around like the shattered remains of his car, and he's freaking out. He's angry. He doesn't know what's going on. He thinks the OSI is trying to kill him, and he's swinging this huge wrench around. And he's like, Helper, get in the plane! And Helper just unloads every weapon he has. Like, knives, buzzsaws, flamethrowers, and he's just like, oh, what the hell's wrong with him now? And Hank just describes it perfectly. He does often speak of the oncoming war between man and machine.
It's just the way he says it as well.
It's so great. And then just Brok carefully putting the wrench down, and then Helper just puts everything away and comes up and hugs him, and it's just like, it's like, I love this.
They are going to get very close by the end of this.
Yes, they are. That was it for me.
I mean, I'll go with my favorite kind of like quote moment. I mean, these 2 episodes are incredible. There's too many things to list. But the final thing that is said at the end of this is by Hunter Gathers at the end. It was like, about Brok. Like, long live that blonde-haired buttercream frosted murder cake. And it's kind of like a beautiful moment and sign off for Brok into this new world, and I think it kind of sums up both of these episodes together. But them together, there's just too many moments to pick.
Yeah,
I mean, mine is Hunter again in the strip club. Just that whole sequence, but like, the alias that Brok has, Jesus Travel Fad, is just so good. But it's got to be, you call parking a supersonic jet in front of a titty bar inconspicuous?
Who taught you to be a spy? Fucking Gallagher?
It was that, or the bit where it's like, well, you are not going to like looking for the keys. But I got to go with the supersonic jet, because just the idea of this giant jet just like parked in front of the bar just cracks me up every single time.
It's so good,
and the fact that he didn't even nobody heard it as well, because he's surprised to find out that the jet's there, and yet you would think that he would have heard it come into land.
Yeah, I mean, supersonic doesn't really imply quiet.
No.
Yeah. Nick, did you say yours?
No, I haven't said mine yet. So mine is a question that I couldn't answer, which was 21 has to pee pretty much the whole time that they're at the compound. Why didn't he pee when they were swimming through the septic system, presumably swimming through piss? Considering in the Lepidopterist episode, he does pee in the water.
Maybe he felt embarrassed from doing it last time?
Maybe. But 24 also peed in the water, so...
That's a really good question, and I think it's just because it's funny to have 21 have to pee the whole episode.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
Yes.
But I was just like, as I was rewatching it, I was like, wait a second. Like, if I had to go to the bathroom, it would be like, swimming through a septic tank would be, yeah, totally fine. No judgment whatsoever. Also, who would know?
Yeah.
Did you feel that extra warm spot? It was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me about it, huh? Like,
Really regret swimming through that septic tank. Ew. Yeah, no, I
but at least
agree.
we have it mapped out now.
He definitely should have peed. All right. Well, that brings season 3 to an end. It's very sad. Sad
to see it go.
Sad to say goodbye. If you had, I know I'm springing this on all 3 of you. If you had one highlight thing from this season, it could be a theme, it could be a character, it can be anything. What was your favorite thing out of season 3? Like, what's your, like, that's why I love season 3. And if the flip side, if season 3 didn't work for you, which I think it did, given how we talked through that the past 12 weeks, if there was something that just made you like, I would love season 3 if it wasn't for this, I'll take that answer as well.
Ooh, I need to have a think.
Yeah.
I mean, mine is kind of obvious. It was because I loved it so much at the time, and it was even brought up this episode. But I think it's just the summary of kind of Brok's character and kind of where they end up with it, but summarized in this one line where he's like, I'm getting a good fight out of you. Like, I feel like that summarizes pretty much like where he is, especially by the end of this season, and why he quits.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good one. I think for me, the reason why I like this season so much as I do is I feel like I love them spinning their wheels of just Jackson Pollock and Doc Hammer. Just, all right, so we've done 2 seasons of this format. How do we keep it fresh and new? And I feel like each episode, for better or worse, is an exercise of like, all right, how do we keep the same formula and do something new with it? And I feel like that's why I like this season so much, because they're always trying to stick to what they know their fans love, but also push the envelope a little bit farther. And it wasn't until the end of the season when they're like, all right, let's just throw the envelope away and get a whole new thing to play with. But I love that this entire season's an exercise in that, of like, all right, we'll keep it similar but new. And I think it's really well done throughout the entire season.
For sure.
And I can continue that to where it's like they're really doing their best of keeping everything fresh and cool and fun and hilarious. And while also, this might have been done in hindsight, or it might have been done, I mean, no matter how it was done very artfully. All of the stuff that they set up in this season, like Orb and The Invisible Hand of Fate, and everything in this episode for future seasons that they call back, I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah. Matt, do you have a standout?
I love the the change the season goes through, but for me there's 2 real big moments. I just had a quick look through the episode list just to refresh my memory, and the Doctor is Sin is just fantastic because of Killinger. I absolutely love the character of Killinger. The voice, the whole thing is just absolutely brilliant.
It's so good.
This is my magic murder bag. It cracks me up every single time. And then there is also, which is just the Dr. Dugon. It's just so good. And it's like,
it's too bad we'll never see him again.
Yeah. And it's just the thing like, cuttlefish.
Give us the cut. I don't even care anymore.
I have cuttlefish.
And then he gets blown up.
It's the best cold opening to any episode. I think that just the whole, just the way, just that sad look, and it's just like, I have cuttlefish.
It's just so pathetic. It's like, you are not playing the same game right now. Okay, I think that brings an end to our season 3 and to today's episode, which is, it's sad, but it's gonna be okay. I'm glad that we were able to get this one and able to spend a little bit more time with it, which has been nice. And it's been great having you on, Matt. Thank you very much for joining us.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It's, I hope everyone can understand my accent.
Your what?
My accent.
You're what? Are you from Australia?
Good eye, mate.
Oh, is that how you 2 know each other?
Nah, I never knew him.
Sense.
Australia's a big country, it turns out. Let's do a quick round of plugs, and then we will say goodbye. For me, as always, every Thursday, 10 a.m., check out After the Hype, the original podcast of the ATH Network. And then also be sure to check out Samwise every week. She is crushing it. And be sure to send her some questions. If you think that there is a question out there that she can't answer with Lord of the Rings, I challenge you to call her and ask that question, because I bet she can do it. It's very, very impressive. And then be sure to check out our articles every Wednesday and Friday, many of them written by Matt, who is on this episode with us. And yeah, that's everything I have to plug. Matt, do you have anything to plug?
Well, the articles, really.
Yep.
But interestingly enough, I can actually plug my own articles. This is a
Yeah.
first. So I think by the time this episode comes out, the Babylon 5 article will be out.
It should be, yes.
Yeah, that was lots of fun to write. Took a hell of a long time because it is like 10 pages.
It's taken us a hell of a long time to copy edit on it as well, which I apologize, it would already be out by now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got some others coming up. I'm planning on doing one about the first Terminator film, which is 35 years old this year. Ghostbusters, again 35 years old. I've got an Airwolf one that I've just written and submitted. I'm thinking of doing one on Miami Vice, the series. I've got an idea of because it's the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, looking into how that affected sci-fi films in general, and things like that. That's sort of up there, and there's loads of things that I'm thinking of doing.
Awesome.
Trying not to make every article about 25 years since this, 30 years since this, but it's quite difficult thinking of stuff that's not that. So if you've got any ideas, let me know.
Yeah. If we have requests, if you love his style, he has answered every one of my requests so far, which has been like 2 of them, but that's still okay. Nick, Graham, anything to plug?
Nothing for me.
I'm on an episode of ATH.
Yeah, you are.
The Roma one. So listen to that.
And I can say this much: that episode was really good. I really enjoyed the conversation. To be fair, we're very mean to the movie. Like we beat the hell out of it, but it is never nothing that we talk about in a negative way. I think is unfounded, and I think we do it in a very, very respectful way of we know what they're trying to do. This is why it didn't work for us. So I highly recommend that Roma episode. I was really happy to have Graham on. I think that one turned out great. And that one will be out, if this comes out a week from this Monday, it'll be out it'll be a week from this Thursday. That one will be out, and I'm really excited for that one. It was a really, really good episode. And I think that's everything we have. Be sure to stay tuned after our musical credits. We do have a credit tag this week, and I don't want it to go unheard. Our wonderful note taker, Mr. Brok Holliday, is currently, as we are talking right now, recording his opinion on the season 3 finale, and we're going to throw it at the end of the episode. So stay tuned after the music you're probably hearing right now under my voice for Brok Holliday's opinion. So thank you everyone for listening, and bye!
Bye!
Toodles.
Bye.
Hey guys, wanted to talk today about The Family That Slays Together Stays Together Part 1 and 2. When you originally asked me to come on, I was super excited, and then I remembered when the first time I watched this episode, and I was in a bit of a place. I had just started college, my first year as a transfer. My girlfriend of 3 years, who I went to this college so I could be close to her, just broke up with me. So, and I lived in a room by myself because transfers didn't have to have roommates. And I decided, watch the episode live, and part 2 specifically. And when 24 asks 21, "Why did you buckle up?" and he replies, "I don't know," broke me. I have not seen this episode until this week. So it's been 10 years? Does that sound right? I need to check the dates on it. About 10 or 11 years. And I'm really sad I've skipped over it and all my views when I run through the series since then, because it's a really well done episode. I think that if there was a Venture Brothers movie, that if you could have taken parts 1 and 2 and stretched them out and made it just a little bit bigger, and it would have made a great Venture Brothers movie. The episode is intense. It's still very funny. It still develops characters, moves the plot really well. And not that all the episodes don't, but these two, the second one more so, are just so crisp, and just it felt more cinematic. I think if you gave those guys an hour and a half to tell the same story, it would. I mean, I already gave the episode an A, but I think if you give them that time period to do that, it would have been the perfect Venture Brothers movie. I did not see his death coming. 24's. I might have misspoke on getting them right earlier. But anyway, I was like, there's no way they're gonna kill him. They're almost in a way outside of the family, kind of like they were like the backbone, the comic, you know, they're just, and they're probably the two more relatable characters out of it. And at the end, where he's walking away, and you see him waving, I was like, oh yeah, they weren't gonna fucking kill him, make us think they were. I'm stupid, and then it fucking explodes. His head lands into him, into 21's hands. I was like, holy shit. And then I went with the whole on the internet, like, well, obviously they're right there with the clones, the clone farm. They're just gonna clone him and bring him back. Like, this is just, yeah, we'll have to wait a few years because that's what you do with the Venture Bros, but he'll be back. And then they shit on that in the first 5 minutes of the next episode, which you guys, I'm sure, will cover. But I guess to sum it all up, this might be one of the best in terms of storytelling. Not the funniest episode, obviously, but it's definitely one of the best plot-wise. And back then, I didn't like that they were taking Brok away from the family, kind of shuffling things around. But if you think about it, and why I think this show's held up so long, is they didn't just stick with one thing for a long, long time and then have to change it up in the last few seasons like a lot of shows do, which make people hate it because, like, well, you did this for so long, now you're switching up. They kind of shift the dynamics of things almost every season. Maybe you could argue 1 and 2, not really, but I think the reason the show has stayed fresh is, even for animation, the characters grow up in age, but more so as people. They're developing. They're not, it's not a Simpsons episode where, oh, your 21 minutes are over, just kind of reset, let's do another bit. And I think it's why the show hopefully will survive longer, just depending on how much they want to do and how much story there really is left to tell. But if this episode's an indication that when it's time to be done, I think these guys will know it. But it seems like they got plenty left. So thanks for giving me time to do all this. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Keep up the good work.
which falls by your kansai shigetsugu. Master Soulsmith of the Nihanto Tanrin Denshusho.
Oh man, shut up already. Why do you sword guys always gotta talk about how cool your swords are?
Sans rien,